Hello, this is the Chong the Dog collective reading, and I got confirmation about a divine masculine that was, I guess, abusing his divine purpose. So, and this does happen, and it's not always the best outcome, but yeah, it does. I'm gonna get an energy field on this first and move this like this because it's very interesting, I guess. I guess the situation I'm picking up in the collective is it was a divine masculine that had an ego. Mom's telling me an inflated ego. And it wasn't very nice to the divine feminine. And it's a tall tale sign of is what is it finding out the grass isn't greener on the other side. So let's get a energy reading and move it on along. We move it on along. This is, and I guess it's a lot of divine masculines. A lot. So it's going to be different. There's a lot of divine masculines that just had bad behavior in the Scorpio season. And the thing is, divine masculines, oh my God, there's so many reverse ones, is you can't always, when you're put in the path of any kind of temptation that doesn't align with your life path, it doesn't give you the reason to be weak, I guess. And sometimes some lessons learned, you got to accept your fate as it is. Because that's just the way life is. So, we got a Four of Pentacles, and it's in the upright. And this talks about financial security, stability, quality, achievement, scarcity, conservation, control, possessiveness, boundaries. I don't know if that's good. Being in the upright, it's kind of still negative to me. So I guess it's 5 divine masculine or feminines. It's just somebody in that energy, and you could be a female and kind of be in that energy of divine masculine or whatnot. Then we got the sun for one of them. Lack of enthusiasm, pessimism, ego, self-doubt, inner child, gloominess, hopelessness, despair, despondency. That's another one. And this was lack of poor choices. This is when you get temptation in your path. In temptation, obviously, it's usually something of it's money motivated and generally sex motivated. And feminines, a divine feminine that kind of falls in that path could be like that too and have that energy. And then we got the chariot in reverse from one of them. Obstacles, lack of discipline, confidence, or willpower, delays, setbacks, accidents. All right, that's roadblocks that we're put in the way to protect the other person. I'm taking it. That's what I'm being told by my ancestors. Then the star in reverse. Oh, God. Lack of faith, despair, self-trust, disconnection, disappointment, arrogance, and impotence, and haughtiness. I know a lot about words, and I don't even know what that word is. I'll have to look it up. And then we got the King of Wands in reverse also. Impulsiveness, haste, ruthless, high expectations, failure, delays, frustrations, disagreement, doubt. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be mean on this reading. I was told by the divine to be nice about it. And I'll do some oracle cards and stuff for you. But I was told to tell you that when judgment happens, you just have to embrace it and take the loss. Sometimes you got to take the loss that you might not ever see the person that you love because of bad choices. And it's just it. It's just it. You just sometimes can't. So, okay, now this is Love Me or Love Me Not. I don't know if this one's that appropriate for this deck because I ordered so many decks, folks, so many. All right, we're gonna do what's this one? All right, this one is good. This has like it's the T thing. All right, this would be kind of like the shadow side of their feelings here and what's going on in their life. This alumni would be that would be the oracle to kind of let you know things of helpful nature. So that would be after we find out what's going on in their head. And then we got clarifying life situations, which this deck would be very. This is going to be very here important. All right. And then here's angel decks here. I just felt compelled. All right. And then here's just divine messages for you, divine masculine, or anybody in the divine masculine energy. So maybe I'll use this one. And we'll do this clarifying life situations. All right, we'll start, I guess, with this one and King of Wands in reverse. All right, and this divine masculine or divine feminine, then the divine someone in the masculine energy, someone that's kind of being, I don't know, on the wrong side of the coin, you would say. All right, they're impulsive, they have haste, they're ruthless, they have high expectations, they're experiencing failure, delays, frustrations, disagreement, and doubt. So we'll go with this, and then we'll put these here. All right, so we're going to put this here. We're just going to leave that there like that. And let's find out what's the buzz going around here. And I'm getting a little tiny bit better with all of this. Sometimes when you buy new decks, it's so hard to shuffle them. I decided to spoil myself and buy. I got a lot more decks coming also. I even got a deck where you can write down your own cards. And it's so nice. It's interesting. I'm just going to do this and just pick it out from here. I'm just going to pick it from the pile here. This is kind of what's going on under the scenes of this divine masculine. It's the King of Wands in reverse. I feel this one is actual male though, or male born type thing of energy. Natural born male. Maybe they identify themselves as female. I don't know, but it's somebody that actually was born with male parts. So that's what I'm picking up. So I just wanted to get like a good shuffle so I can get a more accurate thing what's going on in their life, because we all got to learn from our mistakes, and sometimes mistakes you move on and you don't ever see that person again that you really want. And some situations collective cannot be taken back. I've had situations in my life where I made bad decisions and I just couldn't take them back. It was when I was in my younger years. Do I regret it? No. It leads you to different paths. I am being compelled to say this because God Himself wants to let people know that it's not always, the other side's not always terrible, but you got to clarify things. You really do, and you have to learn things because some things are just what they are. So, alright, we got this one is dealing with a gold digger. And we all know a gold digger comes, this connection comes with a price tag. It's calculated, strategic, and dripping in dollar signs. This is if you resonate it with this energy. If you wonder why something's not happened to the other person, sometimes that's why. Oh boy, burning bridges. This divine masculine burned bridges. And we have, it's not about closure, it's about cutting ties. Whatever connection existed, it's being torched beyond repair. Whatever happened in this situation, bridges are being burned and you just can't go back. And I'm getting confirmation that it's because so much damage was done. There was so many mind games and trickery. And there was just so much that happened that it was just hard to bounce back in this lifetime. It was hard. And in this lifetime, the things that you coveted, you destroyed. There was choices and turns in the road that you could have made another choice, but you just didn't. I'm getting confirmation from the divine on that one. And then I got wedding day. All right, well, someone's having a wedding. This is nice. And there says there's a wedding going down from me to we, from uncertain to official. Everything feels so much more defined now. All right, this divine masculine had gold digger in his field. So obviously there was something with a gold that they attracted a gold digger through deceit. They burned a lot of bridges, and then somehow it's confirmation there's a wedding day. So I guess that's positive. And this is all, I'm not trying to be one of these readers that are just given, I try not to be gossipy. This is just the connection I'm getting. So take it as it resonates. And it's just, but this is about 5 different people. There really is. It's about 5 different people. So, and there's other ones. And then we got spilled tea. Gossip is currency. And someone just cashed in. When the tea this hot, you better believe it's being passed around. There's a lot of gossip around about you going around, a lot of gossip. And you're not going to be able to escape it. It's just not happening, I guess God's telling me. And then we got villain vibes. Wow. All right. They're never the villain in their own story. But the trail of chaos says otherwise. Something about their vibe just doesn't sit right. All right, well, you got in your field, there's villain vibes. So I guess beware of villain vibes I'm getting. These are just, I don't know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but maybe it does to you, divine masculine. Then we got Drama Queen. I can't make this up. I'm literally shuffling and transmuting messages, and this is what I'm getting. If it vibes with you, this one is your reading. And I'm gonna do like 5 individual readings for 5 different divine masculine feminines. Well, actually, today's just divine masculine day, God's telling me. All right, and this drama queen. Don't get pulled into the drama. If peace showed up, they'd start a fight out of boredom. There's someone in your field. I'm taking it. It's this gold digger. That's the energy that's going on. This gold digger that's in your life, divine masculine. I will tell you. Oh, Jesus. All right. The drama queen that's in your life is a gold digger. So, I guess whatever happened and went down in your plane of existence, you thought you had one thing, and I'm getting copycat. I'm getting somebody that just kind of says they're one thing and not, almost like a shapeshifter type thing. Someone that does a lot of spell work and is just after the almighty dollar. That's what I'm getting. All right. And then I got spilled tea, and I'm going to put these in calculation because this is what the divine's telling me to put. And then you're going to get spilled tea after this, after the drama queen here. All right, then we have villain vibes. And then we have burning bridges. It's all going in. This is divine order I'm putting it in. I can't make this up. I can't. And then we got wedding day at the end of your experience. I guess this isn't a horrible ending to your story, divine masculine. There was just there was a major betrayal. I'm just getting. Let's go on with this a little bit more of this reading. God's telling me to keep going, and Mom's telling me to keep going also. So I try to keep both sides of the thing, but I do like those readers that talk shit and really get in there and all that. You know, we all get involved. But I like to hear the tea. I do. I talk. You know, what they call it, the tea. Other readers, I think it's like so cool. I don't know. I like it. It's just, that's how us readers are. But we like to listen to other readers, and we think some of them are hilarious, and you vibe with some readers. Are these the ones I have here? Okay, yeah. This is the ups where it could be up or down. So I gotta make sure I get this right. It says clarifying life situations. God felt compelled for me to come and do this reading for you. I don't know why. If it does make it to your energy space, I guess you were meant to hear this message from what I'm hearing from the divine. Because I don't act in ego. I don't. I'm very humble. I've ascended. I am just in a really good, peaceful place, and I'm not trying to knock people down or bring people up. I'm not trying to do any of that. So I don't try to get involved in those kind of politics. So we're going to keep going here. All right, I'm going to grab just whatever I like to grab here. All right, well, we got another positive card. So maybe all this betrayal wasn't for horrible stuff. You got to trust yourself. All right, this says, let your intuition be the compass that leads you through murky waters. That's what we're getting. One of these things. Not bad. Alright, I'm gonna shuffle until I'm told not to here and get you another card. I feel people should hear messages they're supposed to hear. And some people can't hear the messages so much in their head like us readers can. And people that have different gifts, because that's just how life is. It's how things are meant to be and put to play. Just like I don't have certain intuition about other things, but I do with others. So it is what it is, what it is. I told him to shuffle a couple more times and then pick a card and don't think about it. So that's what I'm going to do. This is how all these readings go. Okay. I don't know. This readings went from a really negative energy to coming out positive for some reason for this divine masculine. We got on the mend. And this says, be compassionate and kind to yourself as you heal your heart. This is what God Himself is telling you, divine masculine. So this doesn't come from me, it comes from the Almighty. And then I can't make this up. I literally just picked it up from the pile. I don't it's all folding together like a story. And then it says, give up control. Release your grip on outcomes. Embrace the present moment's wisdom. That's what God is telling you. If you take the advice, you take it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, you have free will, but I'm here to I just deliver messages. That's it. I'm just the girl that talks to dead people and delivers a message. That's all I am. And I have an endless caring heart that wants to save animals all the time and fix people. I'm a people fixer. I've always been a people fixer, and sometimes it's been the death of me being a people fixer. It really has. So that's neither here nor there. It's just what I am. They're telling me just to pick one randomly, and I'll pick the right one. I don't know how, but you got another good one. Divine masculine. You got new worlds. You got there are many more things for you to discover, so don't give up. I don't know, God still has faith in you even through all this betrayal and sexcapades and everything else. Maybe it's because he wants you to bring truth and justice to something, he's telling me. He says to bring truth and justice and alliance towards the light only makes your life better. And you got to give up this egoing and believe yourself. Believe in yourself, he says. Because this is kind of how life is. And he's telling me with a lot of childhood wounds. A lot of them. A lot of trust issues. And you want other people to fix you. And this was put in your path because he's telling me directly, and God doesn't always talk to me directly like this. It's always my mother talking shit. But anyways, he's telling me that you have to learn your lesson, and you got to learn that life is different than you can't act on impulse, and you act impulsively. And when you have impulsive actions, you get really bad outcomes. That's what God is telling me. And then you got duality dance. And this says seek balance amid the chaos and find harmony within yourself. You got to do the dance of chaos and still have balance at the same time. It takes strategic. I've done it before in my life, divine masculine. It takes strategic things, but self-inflicted chaos takes inward healing. When you always destructing things. You have to bring wrong things to the light, even if it means incriminating your own damn self. That's what he's telling me. All right, then you got Heart's Desire. Okay, and this says, sing along to your heart's song, for it knows what you truly want. Listen to your heart, pretty much is what it's saying. Because he's telling me also, Divine Masculine, that even though you're under blackmail and emotional manipulation that's been self-imposed by sorcery and energy you've given out that's been blocked from going to one source, you could still make things right if you really wanted to, but it's going to be a long path. And you got to have faith. He says if you don't have faith, you're going to keep getting what you dish out, and it's never going to go in the direction that you honestly want it to go. He's also telling me, Divine Masculine, that you always do things and you want everyone to feel small for you to be big. That's what I hear. You make people small for you to feel big. And it's your season to feel small so you can become big. You're meant to, whatever is in your life, which I feel is I feel it was betrayal for sex. So you're having sex with someone over there, and that person popped in your life because it was to teach you a lesson that you have ran away from for many, many years, and he's not backing down on this. He's not giving you nothing unless you really show grace. And he says you've never shown true grace to God. So that's it. That's the message I'm getting there. But I'm going to do another one here. And this is Love Me, Love Me Not. I feel that this deck, for some reason, applies to you. I don't know why. I haven't used it yet. So with all this musty energy, we will just use it and see where it gets us in life, okay? I feel like you have never really truly loved anything besides maybe like family. And this is a big awakening to you. Big awakening to you. And the thing is sometimes you got to let things go. And if it doesn't come back, you have to accept it. And this is what God's telling me. Said sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't. And I have done this too, Divine Masculine. I have. I let two people that I loved a lot go, and they didn't come back. My one true love in my life, honestly, when I was younger. And I shared this situation with you, Divine Masculine, because I guess it's the one thing I regret from when I was a child. And it's my first child's father. I was an ass. I'm telling you, I was. I was a whole ass. And I did cheat on them. I was not nice. I didn't show any goodness, caring, and I hurt his feelings. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he cheated on me, but I cheated on him, and it was this karmic cycle there. We turned it into a karmic cycle, and the thing is that it was my one true love at one point. And I probably would be married to him now if it wasn't for my terrible actions. So, and I just kept going. I tried to do terrible things to him, and my punishment was to watch him get married and be happy and have a child. And this was my true punishment. And then I ended up, I was pregnant with this child, ended up having his child, and I had to watch him be happy, which we have now we have a relationship where we still love each other, but it's just not the love we had before. The love changed. And I had to accept that I killed the love that we had from before, and something else awoken. And sometimes things get put like that in your path, and it's choices we do, and then the universe realigns, and that's it. And life goes on, and sometimes you just have to wallow in. You gotta sit and you lay in the bed you made for yourself. I'm being told. All right, we got boundaries for you, and it says, "I really wish you would give me some space." That just, I don't know if that means anything to you. Maybe it's a message. I'm just putting down the cards and I'm just shuffling until they tell me not to shuffle. And this reading's kind of making sense. Like like losing your first love. And losing your first love, God told me, is a divine punishment for bad behavior. You hear these stories where these people meet each other when they're teenagers and they're married for 50, 60 years and they've never been happier. But these are people that were always spiritually aligned, kind of, and they were given that opportunity. And sometimes when you're a shithead, this happens. And I was a shithead at one time, and I just let it go, and it took me years. So it's up to you. And then here, you got here, open minded. I'm open to exploring things with you, but I can't make any promises. Maybe this is about your divine feminine. I'm picking up. I'm thinking this is maybe this is the stuff that is going on in your field with the person that you have to let go and let them find their path to see if they make their way back to you. That's what I'm picking up. Take it as it resonates. Divine masculine. Then wandering. This really is really is a reading of heartbreak. It says, I often wonder if you feel the same way. Don't we all? A heartbreak and betrayal always end this way. I remember talking to Brian not too long ago, and my older son, his son, was having problems, and I mentioned him, and he asked me if I was still talking to the person that I cheated on him with. So sometimes some things that are done can be undone, but sometimes they can be, I guess sometimes they can come together with enough faith, but sometimes you're meant to let go. That's what I'm getting. So take that as a resonates, and I really feel bad about your heartbreak. I really, really do. Then we have insecure. I feel you're feeling insecure. And this says, am I even good enough for you? We all feel insecurities. We do. And the thing is our life's journey, divine masculine, is not about the other person. It's not. Not about the other person at all. This is about you. And the thing is we get with people for children. That's it. And who you end up with and who you don't end up with is people are in our lives for lessons, I guess God's telling me. Sometimes, we gotta see the bigger picture, I guess. I feel that the person that you're with, and we're not going to call this a karmic because I want to say that it's somebody you fully decided you want a relationship with. So this is your partner. And God wants me to let me just resonate with you. This is your partner now. When you ask the universe and you wanted to be with that partner, and as you broke off your part with your other partner, it was totally fine, but you told the universe you did not want that person no more. So this is somebody from your past that you let go. And I feel when you let go it's to somebody. I feel when you let go of something, you just you let go what you're supposed to let go. You can't hold on to a new person, and you can't hold on to the present and the past, if that makes any sense. God's telling me to make the best of your situation right now. And he says that sometimes people are put in your life for a reason. I feel that God's telling me that there's a possible child involved. And he's telling me, divine masculine, that you always wanted a baby. And every baby is a blessing. I'm being told to tell you that. Maybe that's why you got wedding day. Maybe you're meant, even though you broke up with somebody and you moved on kind of quick. I'm feeling it and you kind of moved on quick. Maybe it was for a reason. For the both parties to have growth, to grow into their power. Because if you are constantly in this energy of conflicting, where is it going to get you? And I feel that you may have a baby on the way. So you kind of created a season of death because you created a season of life. And to every life that's born, death comes. And that's what God's telling me. He said that since you asked the universe for a new, fresh start, for whatever reason it was, it doesn't matter. You put it out there, you manifested it, and you got it. You got the person you wanted. And you ended the relationship that you told the universe you wanted to end. And you possibly have a blood child on the way. So he's telling me to embrace it and be there for your child, because this is the path you chose all by yourself and nobody told you to choose it. And just because you feel a certain way, you can't give your insecurities onto somebody else. And if you push away a possibility of bringing another life in this world, and I guess he's telling me a bad existence, give it a just bad karma with black magic and all this voodoo stuff that's going on in your house, because somebody's hexing people and all that. He says this child could have a price on their head. You could be taking away your child's joy just trying to hold on to the past. And he's actually trying to, I'm trying to get the right words. It's coming through. It's so sad. He's telling me your child is going to have a tormented family, fragmented family. I'm getting, And it's not fair for a child to be born to a fragmented family. For some of you, it could be just the partner you thought was one way ended up another way, and stop thinking of this as this was. I feel like this was somebody you kind of went with to try to self soothe yourself from somebody that you really, really loved. And the thing is God says when you have a baby and you bring that, when you bring in life, you bring death. And when new life is brought forth, death is brought forth. And you can't live in the past. You have to live in the future. So I think we're gonna put all these kind of together here, and this is for like I said, three. This is for 5 divine masculines. If you don't have a baby on the way, this death that I'm kind of picking up is the death of your cycle. There's deaths to every cycle. If you really want a situation done and over with, it's going to be done and over with because that's the energy you put out. So I don't know, you just have to evaluate things and let God work in his own time is what I'm saying, because being hostile, being angry isn't going to get you anywhere. And learn all your lessons. Don't try to invoke any kind. There's someone doing a whole lot of voodoo hoodoo out there. There really is. And the thing is I get it. I get it. I'm a natural born witch. I get it. I transmute energy. I do get it. But if you use, God says if you use it in bad intentions, it turns toxic. And it turns toxic against you. Because we are not gods. We can't make things happen. You can't make wish fulfillments happen, and you cannot make money come your way. And you can't take from one person and give to another and expect no backlash. This is what God's telling me, and that's it. I just deliver the messages, divine masculines. All right. So, like I said, we got the King of Wands, and some of you were impulsive. You had haste. You were ruthless, some of you. You were ruthless in your exit out of the cycle you're trying to jump back in. You are. You were. You were ruthless, you were nasty, and you really kind of did some life-changing things to hurt people on your exit out. And you really got to kind of realize the implications of what you truly did. Then we got high expectations. Some of you had put so high value on what you wanted someone to do, you never realized or what they wanted to do. You didn't see the other person. And when you don't see the other person and you manifest and do all this stuff, you get some that you asked for but you weren't prepared for, and sometimes you can't take these things back. That's what God's telling me. Then you got failure. All right, you failed in. There were some out there, out of these 5, some of these were twin flames. And you failed to deliver the message. You were supposed to actually wound a healer or just show them. You were supposed to show a healer and yourself and heal your wounds, and you were supposed to ascend together, and you failed to do that, and this is null and void in a contract. Just like if you have a car payment, there's some people out there that have had car payments and they didn't pay on them, and because you're in the stagnant energy, you lost your car. You know, you're working extra hours, all kinds of stuff. Just a side note, I heard about the car. But I felt God's telling me with some divine masculines that you were enticed by car and easy sex. That's what he tells me about some of you, and some of you was just the easy sex and feeling just have taken a break. There was some significant with what some of you guys with taking a break. Sometimes if you take a break too long, divine masculines, it really kind of it gives wiggle room for the other person in the past to move forward, because God's always going to tell them to move forward. They're never going to tell them to go backwards. They're never going. God Himself is never going to tell a divine feminine to be small. They're going to tell them to grow into themselves and keep moving. That's what God tells the other person once you let them go and you break the contract. He tells them to keep moving. And as they keep moving and keep moving, before you know it, they get more and more comfortable about with you not there. And that's what they want to do, is not have you there. And you kind of, I guess, shot yourself in the foot, God's telling me. Then there's people that created delays. Delays, my friends, my divine masculines. The more you delay something, time moves on and time heals all wounds. That's what God says. Time heals all wounds. So if you wounded somebody and you're punishing them because of delays or whatever, it doesn't work in your advantage, he says. He says that delays only work in the mundane world. It does not work with love. Love is a totally different creature, because our hearts can just, you could be detached. And the longer the delay, the more the detachment, God says. And then there's frustration. Some of you guys are frustrated out there. I'm picking that up, and the cards are saying frustration. You got frustration going on, folks, and yeah, you're frustrated. You made a bad choice. This is normal in a dark night of the soul. You got to get through it, and you got to learn your lesson and be like, damn. Maybe next time I'll try to do better. That's what God's telling me. Then you got disagreements. And you're going to have disagreements with the partner you chose, which is your partner. That is your person. Whoever you, it's not karmic. It's your person. That is your girlfriend. Whether it be a divine feminine or not, it is your person that you said that you wanted. You asked for this person. You fell infatuated with this person. So it's not their fault. You chose it. And you gotta find a way to live with it, or try to learn your lesson from this experience. Then you got doubt. Yeah, you're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna feel like crap, because you know you're the one that wounded the other person that you now want to be with. But you gotta remember, God says, what you break, He heals. So, and that's anything. What we break, He heals. So if you're going around breaking, the people that you love the most, they're going to heal. And then when they heal, they're going to go in discernment. They're going to go in indifference. And then they're going to grow. And then God's going to rise them up. And God's going to help them, because they're alone. And those that call to Him, He's going to fix and rise. So they don't feel wounded. Because God feels that since you decided you want a girlfriend, and you got a girlfriend, that the agreement's done. And You just kind of have to learn life's messages. You got the Chariot, obstacles, lack of self-discipline, confidence, willpower, delays, setbacks, accidents. This is what happens. Reverse Chariot. God says, hey, 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 you got somebody else. You asked for somebody else. You went out of your way to get a whole new relationship, and you smiled on the way out. And then when you change your mind, everybody prays to God or whatever, the divine. We'll just say divine. I don't really like to single it to God, but they pray to the divine, and it's like, why did you ask for it then? If you wanted the Chariot gone, where that person would get fixed and empowered and you still have a relationship, why do you want it back? God says this is the question. He puts the Chariot in reverse. Then you got then you have the Four of Pentacles. For some of you guys are getting these results: financial security, stability, quality, achievement, scarcity, conservationism, control, possessiveness, boundaries. I mean, this could be good to a certain point, God says. Get financially secure, learn your lessons, work on yourself, and then, over to 12-hour shift, I'm sorry. And then you got conservation, control, and then your possessiveness, and then you have all these insane boundaries to yourself. And all the boundaries, God's saying, divine masculine, are ones you put on yourself. You put it against love, not for love, and then you wonder why love walks away from you and things like that. And it's nothing they did, it's what you did. And there's really no fixing things like that unless you do it. And then there's the Sun in reverse: lack of enthusiasm, pessimism, ego, self-doubt, inner child, gloominess, hopelessness, despair, despondency. This is your dark night of the soul. And everybody goes through it. God says, I say get some ice cream. And just kind of, if you have somebody, maybe try to put your energy into that person. And maybe within time, you'll learn your lesson. You guys will be friends and break it off, or stay together, and maybe a spark can come between you. But stop calling this thing karmic and that. It's, you guys are doing too much spell. Some of you guys are doing too much. You're doing too much spell work. You're just doing too much pop-ups as you're in this dark night of the soul. So, and then you got the Star in reverse: lack of faith, despair, self-trust, disconnection, disappointments, arrogance, impotence, haughtiness. Obviously, you're going to get a lack of faith. You're getting all this because of a lack of faith. So, this is what God showed me for you guys, divine masculines. And I hope this helps, because I'm exhausted, and I'm gonna upload this video, and I'm gonna binge watch some of my favorite tarot card readers. I just love hearing their gossip, even though I'm not that kind of reader. I'm an oracle reader. I just do shadow readings, and I'm shadowing what your insides are telling you. If you're in this energy of F that woman or whatever, or if you're same sex couple, F that man, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I mean, God's saying that when you walk out a door, you entered a union. And with some of you with babies on the way, I guess God told me to ask yourself this question: would you go back? Would you do the same, put yourself in the same shoes as the person that you left? And then there's your answer. So, that's my messages to the divine masculines that have had bad behavior this Scorpio season. And if you like the videos, like and subscribe. And if you didn't, thank you for listening if you did. And I appreciate your help, and I'm going to be doing more of those little happy videos inspirational ones because I've been getting to work a lot earlier because, of course, my brother got to be the star in the kitchen and he got to go out early. I got to go a half hour early, which really gives me barely to sleep. So I don't know, just follow your path, divine masculine, and I really hope you find your way. And I'm gonna ring this bell for you guys because sometimes it brings people luck. It clears energy and everything else. So I'm gonna clear this energy out for you guys. I hope it brings luck to your path in life, and I will be back tomorrow for another reading, and I'll be putting out inspirationals, probably at 6 o'clock in the morning at work. Was I'm tired as fuck. So, oh my god, I said the F word. But anyways, yeah. So I hope it helped. I really hope it helped. Like I said, I'm trying to be bipartisan because of some readers. Oh god. Some readers are very man haters. So they only see the female side and not the masculine. I'm trying to see the masculine side in this reading. And I do have 2 sons, so God told me to think about my sons and if they were in this position. So that's what I am doing. So, divine masculine, I'm sorry about your dark nights of the soul. And not everything resonates for everything, and I'm picking up in the vibration. I will tell you, divine masculine, some of you have had legal issues, and some of you are being blackmailed. Some of you are doing the blackmailing, and besides all this priestess energy, because the person that you picked, which is not your karmic, you picked this person, you're making them jealous. You're going back and forth with your new person also. And you're going to keep having this boomerang effect, he says. So he told me to tell you to stop and just do the work. And things will get better. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oh my god. Oh. So, I hope it resonated with you guys, and I do love you guys because you're part of Chong the Dog family. And Divine Masculine, stay in there, and amen, and sprinkle, sprinkle, and everything else. And I rang the bell for you, so I hope you have a good day. I hope you do well in life. So, I'm going to end this video and so I can get this done. And I'll come on tomorrow for another reading. I just love how the cards give such a such a defined, beautiful picture of everything. Especially oracle cards. So I will see you guys tomorrow and be safe, and I don't know, just try to follow a better path in your life and try to balance yourself, try to take a bath, maybe get a nice crystal and try to make friends with it, maybe hug a tree. Everything's gonna be okay, everything's not doom and gloom, and divine feminines can be very, I'm trying to think of a nice word without cussing too bad. They could be sassy. They ain't gonna take, I guess I'll talk to you as I'm putting my cards back. Divine feminines are very sassy. They're in that, and they always get in that boss energy. You don't, I mean, this is what divine feminines do because they're protected by God themselves. And when you put yourself in that kind of energy of trying to destroy them, they're always going to be rebuilt. A true divine, a true divine feminine. And God told me to tell you that a lot of you, the ones you picked, were not divine feminines. They may have said they were divine feminines, but they are not. That was the test. That's how God gives some people are blessed and some people aren't blessed. It's who chose wisely, I guess God says. because the divine feminine brings the harvest. This is what he's telling me in my head. He says divine feminines always bring harvest and just meaningful events in someone's life. So, if you're experiencing where you let a divine, a lot of you are, you found this. I mean, I want to say Jezebel, but because I went through this recently, but honestly, now being sovereign and stuff, and I'm not as petty, I'm glad it happened. I'm excited it happened, and if and looking back, if this person does have a baby on the way, he really wanted a baby, and I'm happy for him. And I am in full acceptance. I'm not bitter. But being a divine feminine, what would that be a bridge or boundary I would pass? My answer is no, but most divine feminines don't want to be second choices, and they will not be a second choice. That's why a divine feminine is hard to keep. Now, if you have somebody with you that's willing to be a second choice, that doesn't stand strong in their own skin, you probably don't have a divine feminine. They're very sassy. And when they come in their power, they come in quick, and they're just so big. They have the boss energy all around them, because when God surrounds them and God protects them no matter what, all against all costs, that it just, God gives them a choice. There's always choices in life, but God's not going to let somebody of that stature get hurt, and they're going to protect them at all costs. So if you're somebody, and if you left a defined feminine and you're having problems in your relationship, God told me that's because you're not. You're just with somebody that's either has taken on demonic forces, letting a demon, or just simply isn't a good person. And it's the bait when, I guess it's the test of true love. And if there was any kind of, and they always come in abundance to find feminines. They always come with abundance. So before abundance comes the test. If you failed the test, I mean, generally, when God heals a divine feminine, He heals a divine feminine all the way. And if enough time has passed and you failed a test or didn't fail a test, whatever the case, I'm not judging here. I'm in a sovereign mind, because I do believe in higher powers, because why would I be here talking to you if I just appeared out of nowhere? I'm not a ghost. But anyways, if God put you here, He's going to test you, and you gotta expect these things. You can't expect to be the emperor of your own universe. So these are things that, some of these things he's telling me you may have to live with, and there's really nothing you can do. And if then, for some of you divine masculines that have babies on the way, you were meant to have a child, and that's why you were given a child, because maybe you weren't meant to be in the union because you failed a test. So God gave you something in return. He gave you a baby because you may not ever see your divine feminine ever again. God might elevate them so high where they're just not in your field of vision anymore. And these are things you may have to just accept. And it's a hard lesson in life. Yes, it is. It's one of the most painful. But God says that this is why we go through many lives. We go through many lives, and some people have went through many lives where they've lost a love. And I'm talking about a love that's very precious. And then, and then it goes through time where divine feminines lose their counterparts, but other people are brought in. And you gotta accept other people are coming in. You got to. Because God's not gonna let nobody be by themselves. Because it's not fair to the other person to suffer because you made a mistake. That's what God's telling me. He said, you made the choice, and it really isn't a mistake. You made an actual choice, he says. He said, and he says, be careful what you wish and pray for, because sometimes what he's trying to take away or teach you and you walk right into the trap, you're stuck there. And you could be stuck there for a long while, and if it goes on too long, they're not going to let the other person be lonely. Oh no. They're going to say, you know what? Your season's up. We're just going to move you guys over this way. We're finding you new soulmates, and God's going to close up your journey. And it may seem, I guess, sad, but for you divine masculines, oh good. I put my cards over here and I can still turn the speaker on. In this season, if you feel like you've had a lot of stagnant loss, maybe it'll come to better things. Maybe this child will be the blessing you thought you never would have. And then as the divine feminine is moved to wealth and possibly a child theirself, for some of the divine feminines are getting children because possibly they were supposed to have a baby with you, and you kind of, it's not that there wasn't one person was wrong and one person was right, and God wants to make sure you know this. It's not Las Vegas. You chose this. Whoever you chose, you were attracted to, and you chose that person. So in choosing that person, I mean, you got to have acceptance. You can't go back and forth. You can't go back and forth with God himself. It's silly. I mean, I get it. Life sucks. Life is one big cycle, and sometimes it can have terrible things happen in this cycle. I'm just arranging my crystals around some of these cards. I feel like it would give them lots of little power. But anyways, but yeah, and I was been told to tell you guys to be patient, learn your lessons, and if it comes down to where you actually lose the thing that you lost, it's for a reason, and maybe think of the positivity in the situation, especially those that are having good luck. Maybe the person that you're with, maybe they're not a divine feminine, but maybe the child's going to be of some greatness. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes you be like, you know what, I'm not with so-and-so, but man, I got this great kid. It was like that with they told me to share the story of Zach, my youngest. It was like that with Zach. I was just coming off this stagnant energy and this horrible karmic cycle, and Brian, he was my divine masculine. He really was. And I loved him to pieces. He's my first love, and he will always forever be my first love, and I will always have a piece of my heart. But I got I got Brandon out of it, and even though I don't know, this is looks really cute, my belt with this bracelet. But even though me and Mike didn't work out so well, the thing is I got Zach, and he was a total blessing in my life. My God, I don't know what I would do if I was not with Mike. He was my rock for many years, even though we don't get along, even though we were eventually meant to break apart, and even though it wasn't true love, yes, even though it was a lot of discomfort. In that union came my greatest joy, and that was Zach. I mean, in a lot of ways, the two children I have are very diverse. I love them both. I love them both, but I don't know. I just feel that sometimes children are like they heal you within themselves. Just being there, they heal you. Because you have some children that you get from different people you're with, and it's meant to heal you from a situation. And if you were given a child from such tribulating circumstances, I'm told to take it and think about what could be, not what could have been. I mean, if I never left Brian, or if Brian never left me and found another woman, I would have never had Zach. So think of the positiveness, because lovers will come and go, divine masculines, but family's forever. And I do mean family is forever. Because if you are experiencing that you got someone pregnant, that maybe you're not going to be with them. But so what? You're not with them then. I mean, you're not meant to be someone's slave. You're not. You're meant to sometimes just have children with people. Maybe if you do have a child on the way, it was meant to be for some reason. And he's saying just enjoy the ride and embrace the fate. Because maybe it was all meant for a reason. Maybe you would have never had a child with the person that you were so in love with. Think about that. Maybe you weren't really, circumstances came to where you weren't going to have a child with that person, and the universe was trying to give you back something to hold on to when you get older, so you're not alone. So he felt I should share my story with that to you. And yeah, I was on that bad side at once. Yeah, I did. I was horrible to men at one point in my life. I'm not perfect. I'll admit my I'll admit my truth. I was sassy, and I was an a-hole when I was younger. I was very good looking when I was younger, and I felt it. I had an ego. And did it where to get me? Heartbreak, betrayal, and a child. But that child is very important to me, and it's someone that I have, and God let me have a kid, and maybe God will let me have one more. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see how life's journey happens, and He's saying to tell you guys to do the same. And if you're meant to reconnect with that person, you will, and if you're not, you're just not going to. and accept the time you had and be grateful for what you had. When I'm grateful for the 8 years I had with Brian. Yes, I am. I deeply loved him. He was my first love. And I'm grateful for all the time I have with Mike. I mean, our good first 12 years together was good, and yeah, there was a lot of alcohol problems, but I still have, times with Mike but it's different. It's just I'm sovereign and we're not romantic, but it taught me that you can have unconditional love, and when unconditional love changes and you're just not sexually attracted to that person, you can still kind of feel their vibes. You could feel their energy. You could feel it shows you that love is eternal, I guess God says. And because when you truly love somebody and let your heart out, love can change. And it always changes in a positive factor. Sometimes you're just not meant to have sex with that person, and so what? What is sex? It's nothing. It's whatever. Society says everything it matters because we have to have sex with these people. We do not. So maybe it's meant to teach you a lesson in love so you can, when you're in love again, you can seek other more fruitful connections. I hope my message gets to you, divine masculines, and try to behave out there. I know it's hard for y'all to behave because, you know, you're divine masculines and that's how it is. Sometimes, when you get in when you get in that dead energy, you're on an ego trip and you get angry and you're like, why would they do that to me? Oh my God, why? But sometimes the why is the lesson. So I'm gonna let you guys go because I have a crazy day ahead and it's almost 12 o'clock and I've been blabbing a long time here. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow after work, and I think I have more cards coming in, and I have all of my crystals looking cool over here. It looks so damn cool. It looks like a professional little setup. I'm proud of myself. But you guys have a wonderful day, and I love you all from the Chong the dog family. I do, and be safe and be nice and kind to the animals, please. I love the animals, and I don't like to see any animal in harm. And I will see you tomorrow and have a good day.